Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys Dak Prescott drops harsh 5-word message to fans after brutal loss. In the aftermath of the Cowboys' brutal showing in their 28-25 loss to the Ravens, their second straight loss to open the year at home, few of the team's players were eager to talk. The one guy who probably performed best, though, did have something to say, a warning for those fans who would batter the team now that it's fallen to 1-2. That was Dak Prescott. His message: "We don't really need you, anyway." Video of Prescott coming off the field after the loss to the Ravens shows Prescott walking briskly to the locker room. Seeing a camera, Prescott said, "Jump off if you want." That was a tempting impulse for many in Cowboys Nation after Sunday's debacle against the previously winless Ravens, who trampled a Dallas team that was disjointed offensively and steamrolled defensively. Dallas trailed 28-6 before rallying for 19 fourth-quarter points, but the deficit proved insurmountable. Prescott is clearly indicating that many who purport to support the Cowboys are frontrunners and bandwagon jumpers. With the way the Cowboys have looked in the past 2 weeks, they were routed 44-19 by the Saints in Week 2. It's hard to blame the Dallas faithful for having some doubt, though. Cowboys' offensive group was overmatched. Certainly, Prescott shares the frustration around the team. He was one of the few on the roster who played well from whistle to whistle, who kept trying to push his offense even as things looked grim. In all, Prescott went 28 of 51 passing and 379 yards, with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. It was too much to ask Prescott to come back against a team with a deep offense and tough defense. I know the defense didn't want to allow 28 points, but 28 against an offense like that's a game where we have got to score 30, Prescott told reporters. It was a very frustrating start, especially when you're playing a quarterback like that explosive. You just can't do it. The defense did not do much to help Prescott on the day, but then, neither did his offensive teammates. There were dropped passes, an offensive line that struggled at times and, predictably, a running back committee that again proved entirely ineffective. Dallas was outgained on the ground, 274 yards to just 51. Dak Prescott addresses CeeDee Lamb issues. The passing game had its issues, too, with Prescott struggling to get star receiver CeeDee Lamb going for most of the game. Lamb was clearly frustrated, sniping on the sidelines at Prescott and slamming the turf on the field after a missed connection with Prescott. For Lamb, a player who vowed to show more maturity in 2024, it was an especially disappointing result. He had just 4 catches on 7 targets, for 67 yards. While much was made among Cowboys fans about Lamb's behavior, Prescott tried to brush it off. Ex-Cowboys WR ripped CeeDee Lamb for divisive antics. Fresh off missing just about all of Cowboys training camp as he held out for a new contract, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb has looked like a guy who is not on the same page with his quarterback, Dak Prescott. And in Sunday's 28-25 loss to the Ravens, which dropped the Cowboys to 1-2, that disconnect got the better of Lamb, as he was caught on camera chirping at Prescott and acting out his frustrations before he was finally benched during the Cowboys' late rally. Lamb had 4 catches in Sunday, for just 67 yards. He is averaging just 72.7 yards per game this year. But it was Lamb's behavior around the field, rather than failures on it, that counted as the bigger issue. With his new contract comes more responsibility as team leader, and Lamb was not acting in a manner befitting a team leader on Sunday. Former Cowboys receiver Isaiah Stanback, speaking on the team's post-game show, the first word, did not hold back on Lamb. "I am calling it like we see it," Stanback said. "That's why we're former players up here. We do understand that, and we're trying to help y'all understand that." You cannot, regardless of the situation, regardless of the frustration that you're experiencing, you can never exude that kind of frustration on the sideline that can be so divisive for a team that's trying to find a way to gain some momentum. There's no doubt as to why Lamb was frustrated. He was targeted 7 times, running his season stats to 13 catches on 24 targets, or a success rate of 54.2%. Compare that to the star season Lamb had last year. He caught 74.6% of the balls Prescott threw his way, and it's clear that there are issues between Lamb and Prescott. This comes after Lamb was given a 4-year, $136 million deal last month, making him the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. That only makes his actions more unacceptable. Cowboys named potential trade destination for former Pro Bowl RB. In yesterday's Cowboys loss, Dallas running backs combined for just 51 yards and 1 touchdown on 16 carries. Meanwhile, Baltimore Ravens running back Derrick Henry, who the Cowboys passed on in free agency, went off for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on 25 carries. It was a harsh reminder of what could have been for Cowboys fans if the team would have taken a swing on a big-name free agent running back. Dallas will need to seriously consider adding reinforcements in the backfield if there is not improvement over the next few weeks, because the lack of production and consistency from the running back by committee is proving to be a major issue for the offense. One way to bolster the running back room is through trade before the November 5th deadline, and ESPN's Dan Graziano provides an intriguing option: Carolina Panthers running back Miles Sanders. They didn't invest in the position this offseason and aren't generating much in the run game so far, Graziano wrote. Maybe they could use a boost from the outside, considering they rank 26th in yards per rush, 3.7. Jerry Jones said the Cowboys didn't pursue Henry in free agency because they couldn't afford him, but Sanders comes at a much more affordable price. Sanders currently sits behind Chuba Hubbard in Carolina, who also drafted former Texas Longhorn star Jonathan Brooks with the number 46 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Cowboys fans should be familiar with Sanders, who spent 4 seasons with the rival Philadelphia Eagles, including a 2022 Pro Bowl campaign where he rushed for 1,269 yards and 11 touchdowns. While Sanders has seen his production drastically drop in Carolina, perhaps a fresh start could get him back to his Pro Bowl form. It would certainly be worth a shot for the Cowboys after 3 weeks of underwhelming performances from the backs currently on the roster.